Ms. Namrata Tiwari, Marriott Hotels. I welcome all of you logged in, watching us live on different channels and platforms. So, very hearty welcome to all those participants and viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, we at FICCI strongly believe that tourism is one of the key. These were the things that were actually closed. Hotels, model, this would impact the room is to employee ratio adversely. We must note that due to the fear, a large part of hospitality workforce is seeing, we are seeing a reverse migration. Impact on students in travel, tourism, and hospitality. Per se is resilient enough, and now even more, that most of them have survived the crisis. The vaccination drive is in full swing, and we are on the road to recovery. Travel restrictions are easing, and people have started. If nothing untoward happens on the COVID front, hotel chains are improving upon that too. The data analysis from Taj Group stood at 1,331 in June quarter, which was up by rupees 513 reported last year in the same quarter, but still I'm at loss to understand basically what then would come. Have to be ready for tourism. So is the theme of this mega series being tourism ready. So we have been also joined by Mr. Mukesh Meshram, who has been spearheading all the tourism. The new, in its all new avatar and India's newest destination, Ayodhya coming up, and the latest in this. In the new direction, in this direction of
with the government and other experts of this field is really commendable. I welcome all the participants who have participated. All of us. We are struggling with different kind of problems. The hospitality industry has had its own toll financially. and otherwise also aviation is stuck up. Now gradually I have seen that many of the countries they have started opening up their boundaries for the tourists, because some of the countries cannot survive without tourism, and that is really a good sign, positive sign. In fact, Uttar Pradesh has also shown a keen interest in of different things, unlike many other. We are moving ahead with positive note. Our chief minister is constantly keeping the vigil and watch on the pandemic situation almost daily. He convenes a meeting, chairs that meeting with various departments, particularly health department, finance department, and the key players who are involved in controlling or curbing this problem. So that way, we are quite hopeful that we will soon gear up. We will soon come with uh, and come over this problem and start the normal kind of business. Uh, Obviously, to begin with, we will have to be very cautious. We will have to adopt all the precautions certainly be prepared for this. So that is one. All those kind of things are back in the mind, but I'm certain that I spoke other day. I Second is the ecotourism and new areas of experiential tourism, like village tourism, wellness tourism. We can explore all those areas, going to modify it destinations to bring them on world map so that we get them declared as world heritage. We would be able to attract more and more number of tourists, because there is this tendency of, while preparing bucket list where to go and where to visit, people choose, we are acquiring 1200 acres of land there. We would like to invite more investors to invest in Ayodhya. The organizers, FICCI people, to organize such kind of webinars very regularly. On each and every Friday, they have started this series.
Firms that UP nahi dekha to India nahi dekha. But now I just have a small question. Maybe you can, not question, rather.
See, we have more than 30 properties, our guest houses or hotels, which we are trying to further develop, or we want to give it on long term. this sector, hospitality sector, we can facilitate in whatever way. But for us, देव भव, हमारे लिए वो महादेव हो जाता है. So I think more than 30 properties we are ready to dispose of on PPP model. Second, heliports. We have already constructed number of heliports, start heli services in Uttar Pradesh, like Mathura. If somebody wants to use helicopter service from Delhi or from Lucknow or Agra or nearby airports, so they can use it. It's very good heliport which we have. Infrastructure over there, certainly we would be able to attract Southeast Asian tourists, Buddhist pilgrims. So that also anybody can take. In fact, we are in the process of the selection of consultant. Soon we will start this process. So ultimately, that 195 acres of land one can tent village developers. We provide to guest house developers, hoteliers, for wellness center, whosoever establishes. So all that it is already available on the website. So all these things, in fact, in coming months, we will also uh, plan and design to operate on PPP model.
Thank you, Mr. Meshram. Also, I add that the Marriott Gorakhpur is coming up on one of their properties. So you can always demolish the property and build a new hotel. of the Chambal Valley, whilst raising funds for conservation and protection of the National Chambal Sanctuary, successfully recasting the Chambal Valley as a biodiversity spot. In her spare time, though I'm very doubtful that she has any, Anu loves reading.
Are obviously dealing with much bigger inventories, much greater outlay. The whole narrative on climate change and how aware people are of all of these situations, we find that people are desperate to get out and they're desperate to reconnect with nature. And that's where places like ours fit in beautifully. And I personally feel it's a great opportunity for it's the clarity of the transparency and the clarity of the communication. So you have to be upfront and honest. You have to make sure that they're not promising things that you're not going to deliver on. And with this current situation, your safety measures, I mean, they have become paramount. And again, that clarity on, and it doesn't, I totally disagree with this whole idea of spraying chemicals on has happened is because we haven't treated our environment right. Also pointed out, it isn't just about the guests, it is also about our teams and the local community within which we are located. So that is a huge responsibility that is now incumbent on us to make sure that we are tourism ready and we can guarantee a certain degree of safety. And finally, I would say it's they're big spenders, and they normally travel much further afield, and they spend good amount of money doing that. Those same people are now exploring their own backyard because they can't. I mean, the borders are closed, and those are the guests that you need to tap into and get them coming out your way, and you will find that people are willing to pay state. And I also disagree with this whole narrative about in ecotourism, we employ local, we buy local, so it's really about facility. We as a industry are
from your input today, and then the tourists can, of course, benefit out of it, whatever is well developed. And in like there were public spaces, parks in England, which weren't available earlier, and they did that. And not only the natives are benefiting, but now, of course, among tourists also, it's become a kind of a big,
yeah.
kind of a thing. So my question, Anu, to you would be like, sort of a gimmick for the hotels or the hospitality property.
Prateek, I think it's a very genuine concern that you've raised because it has been going on for a while where these are terms that we bandy about without quite getting what it entails. Literally, adding a few trees and, Bob's your uncle, you're an eco-friendly, blah, blah. But I think what we do need is some credible certification process. Like for instance, we are audited by Tough Tigers. There's a pug audit every 3 years where they come and audit every aspect this term, and it's being used. I mean, as I was saying, if I had $1 for every email that I'm getting now, talking about sustainability and responsible tourism, I mean, I wouldn't even need to do anything. But I think what people can do is very simple things. For instance, single-use plastics. It's easier said than done. We were initially told that in foreign visitors willing to take water out of an RO, they are going to want mineral water bottles. It's not possible. One thing. And the third thing that's quite easily done is to go local. I mean, try and careful use of the term is how I would put it. I wouldn't want just everybody jumping onto the bandwagon and giving it a bad name then, and ultimately whatever anybody is doing is going to seem like just a whitewash and not.
In business finance from the prestigious Ivy League Wharton School, Philadelphia. He is the vice president operations of the JP Hotels, three. Hari Sukumar has more than 30 years of global hospitality experience, and he is also the president of the Tourism Guild of Agra and is on the board of governors of the Institute of Hotel Management, Gwalior.
I was just
Yes,
trying to
please.
figure out how this unmute button works. I've finally managed to
Please
do
go.
that. My apologies again for being a clumps. But anyway, So thank you, Mr. Hira, Mr. Meshram, Ms. Tiwari, Anu, and everyone else who's here on this panel. It's a started moving forward very positively, and I must tell you that visible in what we're seeing with the business that's coming in. Agra as a city has always been blessed with two wonderful road connectivity platforms. One is the Yamuna Expressway, and the other is the Lucknow Expressway. So that it's better to do a proper revenue management system and make sure that it's been a great July. I think I've never seen a July as busy as that in the last 7 years that I've been in Agra, even pre-pandemic or post-pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's been a is going to stop people who have COVID spread. Security officer who is standing at the door of your hotel checking temperatures. He doesn't even know if it's in centigrade or Fahrenheit. I don't know what he's going to do with that data at the end of the day. It's just certain things are farcical. I don't think that you're becoming a very impersonal